Hey guys, so today I want to touch on some hypocrisy in politics that happened. I was drawn to this controversy by Got That Funk, who tweeted out, after CPAC announced that they had removed someone from their speaking lineup because their speech was disgusting. Sorry, they said CPAC has just learned that someone that they invited has expressed reprehensible views and that have no home in our conference or our organization, and that individual will not be participating in our conference. And so the one name that was removed from the lineup was a guy named Young Pharaoh. And Young Pharaoh has a couple of views that are on the fringe, little close to QAnon, but, there's a lot of people who believe QAnon like things that will denounce QAnon these days. There's a few Congress people, in fact, one of them, Lord Boebert from my state. Marjorie Taylor Greene, stuff like that. Anyways, so Young Pharaoh, he had tweeted out things like the coronavirus vaccines are going to alter your DNA, and he blamed Jewish people for censorship on social media, stuff like that. But the thing that was the last thing that you could see that was like the straw that broke the camel's back was he tweeted out a challenge that he wanted to live debate a Jewish rabbi to prove that Judaism is false and ostensibly Christianity is true, Judaism is false, right? And this guy believes that he has all the skills, all of the philosophy skills to be able to prove to the world, if only he could, live debate a Jewish rabbi, right? It's quite the claim, if you ask me, but not entirely outside of, the norm for my niche here on YouTube. Because if you remember, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, there were a lot of us atheists who would live debate religious people. And, intrinsic to atheism is the not believing that the other person's deity exists when you engage in these sort of debates. And so, Young Pharaoh, he said $50,000 for the top #Jewish #rabbi who can prove the validity of Judaism. I own my own #debate league and invite you to debate me in front of the world. In the meantime, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, that's what he said that got him canceled by CPAC. CPAC being, the conservative conference every year where anybody who's anybody in the conservative world shows up. And I'm just thinking, like, Young Pharaoh got canceled for something that I have participated in multiple times over the past decade, here on this YouTube channel and on other people's channels, just wanting to debate people from the perspective that their religion has no validity to it. Right? In fact, he was asked by reporters at The Hill, and he disavowed QAnon, and he also said he stood by his claim that there is no validity to Judaism. I could be guilty of the same thing if somebody wanted to cancel me from some event, and I think what's unsettling here is actually that what it says about CPAC, or just the right in America, the political right, is that their canceling of young Pharaoh is basically part of the mindset that all the gods are actually one God, right? That there's no problems with being religious. It's when you actively want to disprove one of those religions, then it kind of it looks bad for all of us. Like, we can all be under this tent, all of us religious people, as long as we don't realize that our gods are mutually exclusive sometimes. Like, just in our religious texts, it will say, hey, put to the death the other people that are of this other religion. It will say explicitly in their religious texts to do so, and they don't see a problem with this weird dogmatic belief that has no rooting in their actual scripture, that all the gods are basically the same God, you know. And if we just rub off some of our spiritual walk on those other religious people, then maybe they'll come to see that our God is actually the true God, and they've been believing the right God the entire time. But, you know, maybe they just need to change a little bit of their views, change their title a little bit, and then we'll all be Christians. Right? That's basically what it is. And, yeah. It's weird, but as an atheist, I wouldn't say that I'm anti-Semitic in that I don't want to see any harm brought upon anyone who claims to be Jewish. I wouldn't say that I'm anti-Christian in that I don't want to see any harm brought upon anybody who claims to be Christian. I like a secular view where everybody who comes to the table gets to leave without being harmed. But, you know, if I'm at that table and somebody has beliefs that are untenable with reality, then I'm going to call them out on it. You know? And validity isn't outside the realm of things I might, you know, plant a flag in and say, like, look, if you cannot prove this, then it is invalid. If it is irrational and has a whole bunch of irony in it, you know, I might be well within my belief system and my feeling of what is acceptable to just call that out. And I'd say that young Pharaoh just really believes in his Christian God, or whichever God he believes in, really. His version of his idea of a deity. He really believes in it, to the point where he feels like he looked at other people's beliefs and he thinks, you know what? I have this conviction that I'm willing to put up $50,000 of my own money for a debate. I don't know what rules would be in place for somebody to win his money, but you know, there are people like James Randi who put up $1 million for someone to prove the existence of magic. Right? Is he getting canceled on the left for being intolerant of certain people's religious beliefs? Not really. You know, he might not have never been invited to a few conferences because of his hardline stances as far as skepticism, but you know, there was never a witch hunt about, hey, you guys can't believe, you guys can't prove what you guys believe, and I'm putting up money, and I want you to come, you know, display your magic. And when you can't get my money, right? That's basically what young Pharaoh did. And now he's been canceled by his side of the political aisle. And here's the kicker: this is the cherry on top of all of this. Is that CPAC has a theme for this year's conference, and that theme is America Uncancelled. I'm not shitting you on that. That's really what the theme is. They canceled someone from their conference. It's called America Uncancelled. That's just sweet irony.